guys, so here we will be answering extract 2 of the story A Bag of Sweets. Let me write here, a bag of sweets. Okay, so we are given the extract there, and it reads, without thinking, I sidestepped, moving out of her reach. She knew I was never any good at pretending to be civil or courteous. Social niceties were never important to me. Khadija knew that. Safely behind the counter, I made a pretext of flipping idly through a magazine, the way I would have done if there was no one in the shop with me. I have to say this for Khadija. She was blessed with humility. She stepped up to the counter, folded her arms across the top, and began speaking spontaneously about how wonderful a man her husband was, how beautiful their baby looked, how homesick she was for our New Year's picnic at the beach, how she missed the things we took for granted, and how she missed me more than anyone else. It failed to move me. I felt as cold towards her as the last kiss I gave to anyone. Her hands resting easily on the cold glass counter were like a bird's wings, relaxed, yet with the potential for unimaginable flight. I could see those hands running across the keyboard, typing, playing the piano. Those hands had given her freedom. In doing so, they destroyed the people we loved. These feelings Khadija seemed not to share. She was insensible to the hurt I felt. She rambled on. The details of what she said I do not even recall. I was determined to meet her lack of sensitivity with a show of disinterest. Out of boredom, I repeatedly glanced at my watch. This did not ruffle her. Okay, so here the narrator tells us that she was ignoring her sister when she came to visit her at the shop. Despite anything that her sister tried to do, the narrator just ignored her and showed her that she did not want her there, So here we're asked to so here we have 5.2.1, and it says describe the setting of this extract. Okay, you must remember that whenever you are given a question to describe the setting, you must give both the time and the place during which the events occur. So in this instance, we are going to say that the setting is at the narrator's family shop. And it is when Khadija had come to visit her on a Friday. Okay, and now we have 5.2.2. It reads that refer to lines 3 to 5. Why does Khartoum behave this way? Let's go to lines 3 and 5. It says, Khadija knew that. Safely behind the counter, I made a pretext of flipping idly through the magazine, the way I would have done if there was no one in the shop with me. So why do we say, it says, why does Khartoum behave this way? Why does she ignore her sister? Why does she make the pretext of flipping a magazine? Well, we say she behaves this way because she is trying to show her sister that she is uninterested in reconciling with her. Or you can also say that she wants to passively chase her sister away by showing her that she does not want her. And giving her a cold shoulder. So now we have 5.2 5.2.3, and it says refer to lines 6 to 11, and it quotes she was blessed, and there's an ellipsis there, and it says to move me thereafter. And it says now explain why this statement by Khadija failed to move the narrator. Let's go to lines 6 to 11. It says, I have to say this for Khadija. She was blessed with humility. She stepped up to the counter, folded her arms across the top, and began speaking spontaneously about how wonderful a man her husband was, how beautiful their baby looked, how homesick she was for our New Year's picnic at the beach, how she missed the things we took for granted, and how she missed me more than anyone else. It failed to move me. Now it says, why does this statement fail to move the narrator? Well, here we can say it is because Khartoum had harbored feelings of animosity, or anger and resentment towards her sister. And you can say that she was not ready to forgive his sister. Okay, and we continue. Now we have 5.2.4 here, and it says choose the correct answer to complete the following sentence. And here it is quoted, her hands resting easily on the cold glass counter were like a bird's wings. Now this is an example of A, alliteration, B, a simile, C, personification, or D, an oxymoron. So let's reread the statement. It says her hands resting easily on the cold glass counter were like a bird's wings. So if you are given a statement and it includes the word like, it simply represents a simile. Now a simile can be detected through the words as or like. Hence we are going to say that the correct answer to 5.2.4 is B, a simile. Okay, and now we go to 5.2.5, and it says refer to lines 16 to 17, and you must explain the irony as evident in this line. Okay, let's go to line 16 and 17. It says, in doing so, they destroyed the people we loved. These feelings Khadija seemed not to share. Okay, let's reread the question. It says, explain the irony as evident in this line. Okay, so here you can say that Khadija decided to marry out of love, but in doing so she destroyed her family relations. Or you can say Khadija married out of her religious background, and yet this destroyed her family unity. Okay, we continue. Now we're going to 5.2.6, and it says refer to lines 18 to 19, and it says A, what tone does the narrator use in this line? Let's go to lines 18 and 19. So we have line 18 here. It says she rambled on The details of what she said I do not even recall. I was determined to meet her lack of sensitivity with a show of disinterest. But here on line 17 it says she was insensible to the hurt I felt. So here let us go to the question again. It says, what tone does the narrator use in this line? Okay, so she uses a distressed tone, or maybe you can say she uses an afflicted, anguished, or tormented tone. Okay, let's go to B. B says, why would the narrator use this tone? Well, she would use this tone because she feels that her sister is insensible to her feelings, and she discards them. Okay, now we are done with 5.2.6. Let's move to 5.2.7. It says, one of the themes in this extract is pretense. Discuss this theme. Okay, so when you are going to discuss the themes of pretense, here is what you can say. You're going to say that Khartoum pretends to be busy paging through a magazine while her sister visited her, visited and spoke to her. This made it seem as though Khadija was non-existent and Khartoum was not moved by her presence. Okay, now you can also say that Khadija pretended not to see that Khartoum was rejecting her presence whenever she visited. Okay, now we're out of space. Let's go to the top. So let's clear this bit. Right, so we have 5.2.8. It says, refer to the title of the story, A Bag of Sweets, and it says, discuss the significance of this title in the story. Okay, so we are now going to discuss the significance of the title called A Bag of Sweets. So let's say the bag of sweets is an insult because cheap sweets can signify that the giver wants to make the receiver feel cheap, and in this way would stay away. And you can say now that Khadija received the bag of sweets and never came back. You can say a bag of sweets. So this is off, is supposed to be a treat and bring joy to the receiver. However, in this story, it ridicules the receiver.